Immerse in the profound wisdom of the Shandilya Bhakti Sutras, ancient verses, revered as a pinnacle of devotion and spiritual awareness. Under the guidance of His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda, plunge into the infinite ocean of this revered scripture. Discover its hidden truths. Embrace its transformative power. Awaken to new realms of divine love and spiritual awareness. The depths are calling. The deeper you dive, the more treasures you'll discover. And now, Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Vasudevasutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Evocations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. In Shandilya Bhakti Sutras, Sutra number 88, which I have already explained, I'm just giving you a little reference. Na prani buddhibhyo sambhavat. Here the focus is to understand the role of God. If the souls are led by their own karmas to go high or low, how are these souls related to God? Many questions arise in the mind of an aspirant. Those questions must be resolved by deep understanding. And these sutras are to help you towards the profound understanding of God, the soul. Na pranibhyo sambhavat. This creation that you see is not possible to have been created by a soul. When you see things, you see pyramids, someone created them. Or there's always explanation. How did it happen? You see the whole universe. You can't give a geological explanation. Can't give any ordinary, because it is not. The creation is not a chaos. Everything is systematic. There is precision. There is intelligence. And as you study it, you find layers and layers of precision and intelligence, pointing to the fact that there is the ultimate climax. The climax of that intelligence is God. The climax of all things that are good and grand points to God. Simple point, no limited mind has the capacity to create the world. God is the creator, because the world is well planned, well managed, and has perfect precision. Mind of a devotee must always turn to God with the understanding God is omniscient. So He is all-knowing. Therefore, even when you pray, and then suddenly say to yourself, I didn't pray for this. That's why God is all-knowing. And even while you are praying, if it is not very sincere, God knows your heart. So God is omniscient. And next point, shouldn't develop the feeling that what I am asking is too much burden on God. God is omnipotent. Nothing is impossible for him. In next sutra, Nirmayocha vacham shrutischa nirmimite pitrivat, having created the world of high and low, God created the world for allowing the souls to evolve. This all is a relative explanation. Seen from the absolute point of view, from the enlightened point of view, the creation is all Maya. But the teachings are given not for enlightened people, they are not allowed. Some scripture raises the question, who deserves to receive these teachings? And the answer is given, not who is extremely dull, nor one who is extremely wise. The teachings are given for those who are dangling in between. So different attitudes are adopted by aspirant. Basic attitude is adopted in relation to God is I am a slave, God is the master. Deha buddhyatu dasoham. From the point of view of the body, I am just a slave. When you turn to the body and its realities, you have absolutely very little control. So you are just a slave in universal process. And therefore that attitude has to develop in all your actions. Whenever you do any work, realize God is working through me. Only when you do something negative, don't say God has done it through me. And when you do positive, I did it. And negative happens, it's God who does everything. That was Duryodhana's policy in Mahabharata. Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. Duryodhana was asked, why does he do all types of negative things? He says, I know dharma, but I don't like it. Janami adharmam nachame nivritti. I know what is adharma, what is vice, but I can't refrain myself from it. Because God in me abides and He is impelling me to do the thing. That's a foolish philosophy. The next step to understand, as a soul, you are a ray of God. And then now you are coming to a profound relationship. You are a reflection in a jar of water. A reflected sun has the project of becoming the sun. The reflected sun doesn't exist independent of the sun. So whenever we talk of jivas, countless souls, they are not, in essence, they are not countless souls. They are all radiations of God. And there is no mathematical calculation about jivas, because sun is only one. All reflections are in the realm of illusion. Wherever there is water, there will be a reflection. Wherever there is a mind, there will be a jiva, the individual soul, with the potentiality of realizing I am that. So now, coming to the state of jivas, you develop the attitude that God is like Father. If you added to it like a mother, there's no harm. Actually, the intention of the scripture is simply to let you know that his father, mother, all. Countless jivas have to evolve. Each jiva requires different types of experiences. Karmas require different types of fructifications. Just like think of the problem the sun has in relation to countless trees and plants and grasses. They are all receive radiation from the sun and they grow. But it doesn't put sun in a state of stress. The sun simply showers. Each seed has its potency. If it's a bitter seed, out of it will grow a bitter tree. The banyan seed, the banyan. The sun simply shines, provides energy to all, allowing each seed to bring out what is hidden in it. The God creates the world and provides, and he plays the role of the Divine Father, guiding the souls. He has created the world. World doesn't have only one plane, high and low. The scriptures call 14 lokas. But that's not to be taken very strictly. They are just to give you the idea. There are higher levels, there are lower levels. Broad way, scriptures speak of 3 lokas. The world of senses. The world where senses are dominating reality. What you think doesn't matter. What sticks to your tongue, that matters. What you taste, what you touch, that matters. So that is the most crude world, just the senses. Then you add to it not only the world of senses, but you need a magnifying glass, the mind. Mind magnifies it, puts something else to it. So therefore now you are living in 2 lokas, senses and the mind. So your experience has much more dimension. Though physical point of view, people may be given the same situation. Everybody has the same type of food, same situation, and yet because their minds are different, in different states, no 2 persons experience the same way. One is moving to hell, another is moving to heaven. And then it is furthermore extended your experience when intellect begins to play its part. When you start the art of thinking, reflection, and reach to a state that your reflective capacity is not damped or obstructed by your ego. There lies a bigger aspect, a bigger movement for your enrichment. Otherwise, life is shallow. If intellect has not started operating, if intellect is completely subservient to ego, ego doesn't know much. So you are being ruled by raga, dvesha, attachment, hatred. You're ruled by a gambler, shakuni. You don't have any definite goals. Your goal also is a matter of chance. This is what you think will get you to happiness. You think. But when you get it, you realize it was a wrong gamble. We're not living in a world that has precision, that has a law. So God has created high and low. And you begin to live in the higher world if your intellect advances. How much can intellect advance? That's where it comes to understand the pravritti and nivritti. As long as intellect continues to be dominated by ego, all its attainments will be in the world of time and space. You will have amazing experience of great height. That height is called heaven, not liberation. Having enjoyed that, you come down. So they're high and low, and you continue to go up and down like a step ladder. You're going up and then going down. And countless souls, they are also. When you are up on a level, you look down, souls are moving up, but you look at them and say they are downward people. The judgment of people is also not clear in your mind. The one who is now looks, from your point of view, you see the person down, 3 steps down. But what you don't see is your own feet are going down, down. And his feet are going up, up. So therefore, no, it's very difficult for you to really say who is advancing and who is not advancing. To rest in peace, leave it in the hands of God. Judgment is left in the hands of God. Liberation becomes possible when sattva has enhanced and intellect has the capacity to tear itself away from ego. If that happens, that means now you have attained enlightenment. Your movement is krama mukti. Gradually you are moving and moving up and up and up. Beyond the ladder. In transcendental expansion. Climax of the movement is the realization, I am. I am. You become one with God. So God, having created this universe that allows you to go high and low, and allows you to pursue the path leading to liberation, the path of yoga, path of bhakti. He, in order to guide the souls, revealed the Vedas, just like a father, with great compassion. Most religions speak of God has given the scripture. And people become extremely restricted in their mind. Not a single word can change, because God has given it. How did God give the scriptures? You need to understand the revelation. How did scientists come to discover laws of nature? Think of Mr. Newton sitting under the apple tree. Apple fell upon his head, and his mind suddenly expanded. And he brought out the laws of physics. I'm making it humorous, don't take it literally. The laws of Newton is still under his name, but they were not created by him. Even before he created it, the apple fell on his head. Similarly, sages, in their state of samadhi, an absolute purity of mind, they received the divine revelation. And it is with all mystics, it is well known that just like you receive guidance from loved ones, saints are able to talk to God. God is able to talk to them. The word talk has to be understood in a figurative way. In the Bible, Moses, God talks to him. Doesn't show himself, but he talks. Great personalities speak of the voice. They are led by the voice. Mahatma Gandhi did certain austerities where he mentioned he was being led by God within him. You may say, when that will come, God will talk to you. God is inspiring everyone at every moment. But you become more aware of the higher form of revelation when your mind is full of sattva. As you get into the depth of peace and serenity, then you are catching a wisdom that as if coming from God on Garuda's wings and whispering to you. If you take it all literally, it will be hard to realize that way. The communion with God is the most intrinsic, most natural. And that's what your ideal is. Come to that state where your inner awareness, who am I, and God are one and the same. For a river that has entered the ocean, the inner awareness, I am the ocean. But that being the ideal, here we are coming to just this point that all scriptures, they are giving you revelations. Revelations are messages from God to guide humanity. If revelations of the scriptures were not there, and people are ruled only by politicians, imagine what will happen to them. The next sutra raises a question. Mishropadeshat neti chetana salpatvat. The Vedic teachings also contain a mixture of sacrifices. Sacrifices involve violence. If God gave the revelation like a father, how is it possible that he would have said or permitted violence? The answer is given, it is not so. These examples are few. Further, they are with the intention of curbing the violent nature of the devotees. Now, it's directing your attention to old-time rituals. And even in the present times, people continue in the Bible, everywhere. Sacrificing animals. The idea is that people, in majority, from old times, they have been receiving nutrition from non-vegetarian process, eating meat. Killing too many animals, sometimes many became interested just killing them, even if you don't need them. Just enjoy how to kill them, how to shoot a deer. Now the scriptures, working as a master psychologist, said, you perform that in the form of sacrifice. Don't go abruptly after animals. But on certain sacred days, get a hold of an animal, go through all the rituals, sacrifice, and then eat it. You must realize, even while I'm saying it is ugly, But if you compare it with how many animals they would have eaten, and by restricting them to one sacrifice, you must realize 99 animals have been saved. One animal has been sacrificed. So that has been the intention. When Vedas permit you to do something that seems like negative, the intention is gradually you are being curbed. If you are a chain smoker and you are coming to a state of injuring your lungs, the person, one who wants to do benefit to you, says, reduce it, take only 10 a day, take only 5. Another person hears from a distance, so this man teaches smoking. This has been the real intention, because Vedas give you the understanding that which you have to destroy and kill is the animal within you, the soul that is fettered by pashas, the various limitations, anger, hate, greed. When you are fettered by these, you are called Pashu. And the Pashu aspect in you has to be sacrificed. So catch a hold of the big animal, anger. Put a rope around his neck, tie his legs, bring him up and down. Bring to the sacrificial altar in your heart. Strike the sword of wisdom on the neck. Invoke gods, they all enjoy your sacrifice. The language is crude, but that's the meaning. And that's the way all the scriptures are written. Ignorance and all its ramifications are big demons. And Rama has to plunge his arrow in everybody's neck. That doesn't mean that we are encouraging war. Therefore, scriptures have to be read with under guidance. And whenever any example comes of sacrifice, etc., you have to understand the actual intention of the scripture is how to remove violence from the heart of people and place it with cosmic love. Phalamasmat badarayano drishtaktvat. God is the giver of the fruits of karmas. Just as in this world, one receives punishment and reward from rulers. God is a ruler. And this is the view of Badarayana, sage Vyasa. Shandilya quotes sage Vyasa. Sage Vyasa is known as Badarayana, another name. And Brahma Sutras, the great work of Vedanta, has been produced by sage Vyasa. In Brahma Sutras, there occurs a statement, Phalamata upapatte, fruits of karma proceed from him, for this is reasonable. Every soul, every individual has the choice of doing good karma or bad karma. God has given you an umbrella, like you can. Here is something like a father gives a car to a child. Now, he knows, and of course he doesn't ever go on telling you exactly how you should use the car, but his intention is that car will be used by the child in a right way. But then, once you have given, you have sanctioned your boy, your girl, or whomsoever, you have sanctioned the use of the car according to their judgment. So you have the ability to do karma, and God's sanction is there. Therefore, your karma can be positive, can be negative. If it is positive, the fruit of karma, it is up to you to do the karma, but it is not up to you to create the fruit. Fruit has been, because no one can determine what should be the fruit. If it is in the hands of the individual, you do your karma and you determine your fruit, there will be absolute calamity. You do your karma, but the ruler determines whether your karma is to give you the reward of virtue or give you a punishment like painful experience. Dharma and adharma, two types of karma. And there is a third type, mixed. Three possibilities are there of your karma. Dharma, more sattvic. That type of karma will give you like actions of charity, generosity, goodness of the heart. That will give you joyous experience. It can give you prosperity, it can give you fame, it can give you some upliftment. But negative karma, painful karma, of depriving a person of his possibility. Painful karmas, killing, cheating, deceiving, putting dagger in the hearts of people, physically and symbolically. Those karmas will bring you pain. If it was up to you to give the fruit of karma, you wouldn't have given pain to yourself, no matter how crude you may be. So the giver of fruit is somebody else. And that is the God. From God comes the fruits of karmas. Therefore, the Gita saying, you do your duty to the best way you can and leave the fruits in divine hands. As a result of good karma, if good predominates, you wouldn't be born as a human being, will stay angels floating in the heavenly world. And if it was predominantly negative karma, then you will stay in hell, absolute hell. But that's not the creation. Creation is not just to be stuck in heaven or to be stuck in hell. But 1 foot in heaven and 1 foot in hell. That's the beauty of human body. Mixed karma. And led by your karma, God goes on providing situations and circumstances. Countless things are put together in order to have your karma fulfilled. And when you are led to painful experience because of your negative karma, you may wonder, how can God, who is father and mother, would allow his child to suffer pain? Tulsidas ji and other sages give the answer. If someone, your son, your daughter, has gotten a cancer, a tumor, any operation is painful. Parents, even though they love the child, they allow the child to go through that, which is a higher love. So the pain in you is given not with the intention of really injuring the soul, with the intention that the soul will understand its mistake and turns its steps towards virtue. And we have stories in Ramayana, for example. Narada developed, he was practicing deep samadhi, etc., and gods always put a person to test. When the test comes, you should not cheat. Indra sent Kamadeva, the spirit of cupidity in his mind, to attack Narada, and Narada remained invincible. And later Kamadeva fell at his feet, and Narada suddenly developed the ego that even Lord Shiva was unable to conquer him. That was not true, but he developed that in his mind. And with that, he traveled to he went to Brahma, and even before Brahma asked him what did he do, where were you, he said, this thing happened to me. Brahma said, all right, don't tell that to Shiva or to Vishnu. But he forgot the instruction. He went to Shiva. And Shiva told him, oh, it's wonderful, but don't tell Lord Vishnu. He goes to Lord Vishnu, and he says, the Lord Vishnu said, what a great, but it is not great attainment for you. People repeating your name can conquer kama. And all that you have done is not much, but of course you are great. But then Lord Vishnu started planning how to remove the cancer that was growing in the brain of Narada, of ego. So there is a dramatization. He goes and suddenly he finds a city he had not seen before. There he is welcomed by the king, and the king has a princess. Princess was going to be married. Hundreds and thousands of people had come to choose the princess according to old style of Swayamvara. Princess would come on the stage, and it was up to her to put the garland on anyone's neck. And marriage was possible. The whole thing was a competition of appearance. Narada saw the princess, and according to his intuition, he realized that she will be, whoever marries her will be the greatest in the whole universe. And he looked at himself, he who has been even doing super act than Shiva. So he should be the one. But then he looked at his body, he was just emaciated and veins jutting out of his body. Hardly much of a match. Then suddenly remembered Lord Vishnu and invoked him. Lord Vishnu appeared. Oh, Narada, what should I do for you? He says, oh, Lord Vishnu, I need to borrow your body. I can borrow coats. You must realize that I'm modifying this story. The stories are meant to be told in a modified way. And Lord Vishnu said, oh yes. I will do exactly as people who are benefactors. They do things in the right way. Just like a doctor dealing with the patient. I will implying that he's not going to do exactly as he has asked. Narada looked at his body. It was Lord Vishnu's body. Very proudly he sat in the midst of all the people who had come together. And the princess comes with a mala. The princess is goddess Lakshmi. All that was created by divine Maya, illusion. Princess comes, but of course it's a dramatization. Princess starts looking and sees Narada. And her face suddenly shows horror, moves away. Because while Narada's body was of Vishnu, his face was of a monkey. So Narada was unable to know what Lord Vishnu did to him. And then Narada realized, how is it? She didn't see me. She got up, went in that direction where her eyes were directed. She again turned away. It's happened 3 or 4 times. And there were 2 divine agents, like journalists of today. They were there just to watch Narada. His appearance was so peculiar. And they were fascinated by that. And they, seeing Narada getting too upset, they said, "Why don't you see your face?" They realized he doesn't know that his face is so ugly. And there was a little pool of water, and Narada looks into it. It's a monkey face. Anger surges in his mind. And he directs that anger to those 2 journalists. They're called Jaya and Vijaya. May you become demons. They become big demons. The whole story of Ramayana is based upon this. And he sees Lord Vishnu comes, and this princess puts the garland on him, and Vishnu rises in his chariot. And Narada, with tremendous anger, stands facing the chariot. And Lord Vishnu says, "Hello, Narada." He stops the chariot, gets down and greets the sage, and the sage curses him that you think that you can do anything and get away with it. But this time you have done a big mistake. You have to, implying that you will be born as a human being, and this face that you have given to me will help you. And this princess will be kidnapped. So the whole Ramayana plan comes. All that is highly mystical. The idea is that in the plan of putting a devotee into trouble, God takes lots of trouble to correct his error. And it is for that purpose God goes on incarnating on the earth. And with this we conclude. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual growth. It's an honor to learn from the wisdom of Swami Jyotirmayananda. As we part for now, remember, the quest does not end. Take time to reflect on today's insights and integrate them into your life. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, stay present. The light within you is always shining.